Hey guys, this is Tommy from the Ravens Creek Study, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about faith versus faith. What do I mean? So, in the doctrines of the faith, generally we believe in God as three persons. We believe in Jesus as the Son who came to earth as God incarnate. There are a lot of different faith-based doctrines in Christianity. But there's a difference between belief and belief. You can believe that Jesus came to the earth, that he is God, that he died on a cross, that he resurrected, that we are saved through his blood. You can believe all of these things, but just because you believe that it happened or that it's true doesn't necessarily mean that you really believe it. So there's kind of this duality, I guess you can call it, where there's this belief in belief. You can think of it this way: when you look at the doctrines of the faith, the way that you believe it will cause for you to live a certain way. So if you believe that Jesus truly did die on the cross for the atonement of your sin, then it's going to cause for you to live as if you actually believed it and as if you actually have been atoned. If you believe that Jesus resurrected on the third day and that we, who have been baptized into his death and been raised by the same power, have been raised, then you're going to live a very specific way. There's going to be a cogency to the way that you live. There's going to be a certain perception that you actually seem to believe that you have been dead and hid with Christ in God and truly been raised again, so that you're no longer underneath the sin nature, underneath the power of sin, underneath the law, which law is more than just the first 5 books of Moses. Law is anything that is traditional in a way that it causes us to believe by what we do or by the traditions we hold, we can be closer to God. So if you think, in order to be closer to God, you have to get baptized. Or in order to be closer to God, you have to be able to speak in tongues. Or to be closer to God, you have to do something. This would be law. But we're not under law. We've been freed from that mentality of you have to do this in order to be closer. You have to do this to appease God. It's simply by grace. And once again, this statement is something either going to drive you into deeper love and respect and adoration for God, or it's going to cause for you to think, yeah, I can just accept that and live however I want then. You know, if it's all of grace, then why don't we go ahead and continue to sin, that grace may abound? And this is the whole contention, right? This is what Paul is addressing in the book of Romans, is that he's going through kind of this faith versus faith thing, where you've got the faith of Judaism that is very based in law and tradition and works. And he's contending against that in chapters 3, 4, and 5. And then you come to chapter 6, and it does pose that question. Well, if it's all of grace, then why don't we sin so that grace may abound? And this is where you get resurrection. And so for 6, 7, and 8, Paul's talking about this resurrection life and how we're no longer under law and how we no longer have to believe that it's by what we do. But because we've been set free, we're no longer under sin at all. We've died to sin, so how can we live in it any longer? And so this is something I want you to think about, I guess, as you go through your day. Consider what does it mean then to have faith? What does it mean then to actually take what I'm believing? God is 3 persons. He's a community. Well, how does that relate to my daily life then? In what way does it affect the way that I live? Well, if God is community, then he's created us to be community as well. We should have the same unity, and Jesus even prayed this, that we would be one as he and the Father are one, as his disciples. How do we go through all the different doctrines of the faith, all the different faith tenets, and say, well, we believe these things. How does that affect my personal life? In what way does it cause for me to live in a more godly, more righteous manner? Because that's the difference between faith and faith. There's the faith that says, I believe it, I've subscribed to it, I've hit the check mark, I am believing that this took place or that this is true. And then there's the belief that actually requires you to live it out. Thanks for listening. hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do. Grace and peace to you in Christ. Until next time, it's been a couple weeks since I posted a video. Hopefully this one's an okay one. Until next time, grace and peace to you.